Hi, I'm Nigel. I'm the learning officer here at Clumber Park in Nottinghamshire. I was brought up, my village was about 15 miles away from here, so I knew Clumber Park quite well. I just came along and said, look, can I be a volunteer here? Is there something I can do? Within a few weeks here, there was a job came up, and I suppose because I'd been volunteering here, people knew what I could do and what I was like, and they said, why don't you apply for that job? And I applied, got the job, and at the time that job was one of the warden jobs here, countryside warden job here, which is looking after the countryside and its habitat management. My job evolved because more and more the demand came for people who wanted to find out about countryside, wanted to find out about wildlife. So a post was created here for learning officer, which I kind of shuffled into really, and so it was an evolution rather than anything else. At Clumber Park we do lots of work with school parties, so during the week we're mostly taken up with school parties coming in, probably one class at a time, and we take them out and we teach them about the park, but particularly about wildlife, about natural history. We also have a series of events and activities for adults as well, so we have adult groups coming out looking at fungi. We have a bird group, so we do education to do with birds. That's the fun of the job really, because there's so many different ways you can go and so many different things to find out about, and to encourage other people to find out about, and yeah, hopefully inspire them a little bit to get involved. The most fun part is working with children really, because children, that you never know what's going to happen next week. You never know what they're going to ask you, you never know what they're going to want to find out about. I was always an outdoors kid. I wouldn't say I ever knew that much about, as I do now, nature, wildlife. It was just a matter of fact acceptability about the outdoors, and just loved being outdoors, and I loved being in the countryside. I don't think I ever really knew where I was headed till it was in my 20s really. As a child, I mean, my strong subjects were things like history and English. Everything else was pretty weak, to be honest, and it wasn't until much later on that I got into other things like science and that type of stuff. I did politics degree with economic and social history, which was fascinating, really great. It was European politics, so I was finding out about how the political system worked in France, Russia, Germany, and also America and places like that. I had to get somewhere where I would love to be, so it's the place, the location. It was also the kind of type of work. Conservation was of interest to me, making sure the places that I loved would be there for other people in the future. To be part of that is important. I always wanted to be in something that would keep me going, would make me want to come to work every morning. Always been inspired by places. I mean, the place I love the most in the whole world is the Lake District. When you're there, you just feel right. You just feel, yeah, this is the sort of place that is me, suits me, and you don't need anything else. You don't need money when you're there. You don't need flash around in your car. You just get out of the car and just go. Step up into the fells. It just feels right. I guess that filters into everything I do in this environment where I work now. We haven't got any mountains, but we've got beautiful countryside and beautiful trees, and you can go up and hug a tree or touch a tree, and it just feels, yeah, fine. That's great. That's what you can do. That's a wonderful thing to be able to do. It's very difficult to improve on something like this because there's so much here and it's so interesting and a great place to be.